All right, we're on to the semifinals. We got Finnik versus HunterV now. Let's see if Hunter's able to continue this run. Right now, we have 3 people in the semifinals for Team Aretuza. So the other match, if somebody from Team Aretuza is able to win, we will have a Team Aretuza finals. So we'll see if... actually, sorry, it's this match. So Type V on Team Aretuza playing against Finnik, who is not on Team Aretuza. The other matchup is Asher versus... I forget the other Team Aretuza member that ended up... Rowdy. Rowdy versus Asher in the other semifinals match. So, no matter what, if Type V wins, we're getting a Team Aretuza final. So, let's see if that is indeed going to happen. Let's get into Game 1 of the semifinals here for Duels of Runeterra number 17. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start the game, and guess what we have for a Game 1 here? We have some serious spice, and it is, in fact, the Fearsome Ionia Nocturne Elise deck. Oh my god, I'm super excited to see this, and I hope it does really well. Game 1, HunterV versus Finnik here. This is for the semi-finals of Duels of Runeterra 17. The winner gets a shot at a Team Aretuza member, because we have Rowdy and M8 Asher on the other side of the bracket. So, good stuff to start off here. And we already have some Stalking Shadows and Wraith Callers. I think we have a lot of miss rates in our very close future.
Not going for the Miss Wraith on 2, though. Instead, going for the Elise, going to try and push as much damage as possible, as well as just make an effective blocker onto this Avarossan Sentry, which will almost certainly die to the Spiderling. Let's see what happens here. The Fearsome does play out pretty well into these Freljord Shadow Isle decks. I mean, Kindly Tavern Keeper is going to be in this if it is Feel the Rush, which I would just...
Yep, you always instantly stop speaking the second that happens, because you're ahead of me again a little bit. So,
well, it's not that. It's Discord changed its ringtone for Halloween.
Oh, really? Wait,
so
really?
Like this really spooky kind of tone.
Can you mute yourself, by the way, because you're double?
I was like, what the hell is that?
So I'm gonna go ahead and share you over here.
Yeah, sure.
Just so we're at the
Give me
same.
a heart attack.
Spooky? Actually, I kind of want to hear that ringtone now. I don't know what it is.
I'll call you after this, and you can have the heart attack that I did, because I wasn't expecting a call.
Oh, man. And we have suddenly a humongous field here of not just Fearsome, but, we have that Wraith Caller there as well. This is what I was talking about earlier, where I think Fearsome is really good right now. But what I will say is Iceveil Archer and Babbling Bjerg are 2 units that you definitely want right now with something like Fearsome on the field. We also have Nocturne, though. So we just Stalking Shadowed. We will have Nightfall available on Nocturne. That means, guess what? These Fearsome blockers are no longer Fearsome blockers. Wow. Look at this board. Like, look at this. How do you kill this board? You don't. Withering Wail? Nada. Doesn't do anything. Love this. Ash is a Fearsome blocker. That's about it.
I mean, yeah, and this is the one deck where you don't really care if the Ash dies. It does get it into the Death Bowl with the Rekindler, and I mean, no, because we are going to challenge this Babbling Bjerg. So I was going to say, like maybe Mist Call is on the table, but that's not quite the case here.
Wow, yeah, so this is...
It has been a while since we've seen the Zombie Ash, though.
Yeah. I can't help myself but just think of Nola Gold whenever I see this deck now, because he's just like the pioneer of it, or at least the pioneer of it that took it to some wins.
And the pioneer of the resurgence.
Yeah, yep, yeah, there you go. That's a good way of putting it. And, actually going to save the Ash, though, with this Frostbite, so the Nocturne not going to be able to trade with it. Wow, okay.
Oh, just throwing out... Are we just going to see the Ash level this turn?
Yeah, right? So,
I mean, but even with all that Frostbite coming out, he's still going to take 8 damage here, and there's not a whole lot of healing in this deck. There's not a whole lot of cards left in hand. He's going to go up to 6, but, I mean, Ruination's on the table, Avalanche's on the table. This is, being a harrowing win condition deck, you really don't care about your board. You can eventually get to that 9 spell. And there's nothing that HunterV is going to be able to do about it. He is splashing Ionia, but I think if we saw it was Go Get It, and there might have been one other card. Was it Deny?
That's actually interesting if it is Deny. I'm very curious to see if he decided to splash more than that. He might just be splashing Go Get It. Are you sure there was another additional card in there?
No, I think when we saw him on ladder, I might have seen a deny. I'm not 100% on that, so I'm kind of. I want to say I'm not going to talk about it, but because it is closed deck list,
Yeah.
like deny is a huge difference maker in a matchup like this when your opponent's win condition is the harrowing.
Yeah, 100%. And now the consideration on Finnick's side is, do you even attack here, right? You're just going to offer trades where your opponent is probably going to be able to reestablish a field. We can see that there's another Elise in hand to go ahead and summon 2 Spiderlings here. Won't be able to level the Elise this turn, unfortunately. Does the Elise level if the Ephemeral is a Spider? Like, if you have an Ephemeral Spider and 2 Spiderlings, at the end of the turn, does Elise trigger and then the Ephemeral dies?
I'm supposed to be the one asking these questions so I can try and force you to answer them. I don't know the answer to that. I haven't seen that happen before.
Yeah, I have not either. I'm actually very curious as to how that resolves, and I'm sure we'll get plenty of input from chat. Riot, please, just if you're watching, just answer some of these questions for a definitive answer, please. Oh man. And this is a big swing though, right? So we have the vulnerable on the Babbling Bjerg. We can go ahead and trade it with the 4/1. Makes sense. This is gonna force another Fearsome block out. Spiderling gonna go bye-bye though.
I love the little rip in half animation.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, all these missed rates, wow, talk about are going to be able to get blocked by the Fearsome blockers and save a lot of the health. And I think this is where this deck starts to kind of show its true colors as far as Hunter V's deck is concerned. Because even though you are losing most of your field, which an aggressive deck usually, that's bad, right? Oh man, I don't have more Fearsome attackers. You traded with my units. This is bad. Well, the type of deck this is, I have a feeling we're going to be able to replenish this field quite quickly with something like Stalking Shadows and this Glimpse from Beyond being able to replenish the hand.
And this is a sort of a rough matchup for Hunter V. As far as control decks go, this is probably the one with the most Fearsome blockers.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, actually, this would probably be the worst matchup in general for Hunter V going up against this deck.
As far as control decks go.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Plus, you even have the healer, right? I mean, all right. So, Kindly Tavern Keeper, in and of itself, is a huge bane for Hunter V, right? It's heal plus a Fearsome blocker. So, yeah, I got to agree.
And I mean, we are going to see him. Why is Finnick's roping so fast? Okay, it is going to be Ash's. Oh my gosh, he's just saving his entire board here with no regard for his life total. And I think that is a well. Is there over-the-top damage in Hunter V? I would assume that there are Doom Beasts in this deck if there are Nocturnes in it, and you do have to be a little bit afraid with your life total, but there's going to be a lot of healing in Finnick's deck as well, so if he does still have something like a Grasp of the Undying or a Withering Will in hand, maybe he's not actually too concerned about this 5 HP that he's at, and I mean, he's also not quite presenting lethal next turn, but actually getting pretty close to it if he plays, I mean, pretty much any other unit.
So, actually, something interesting in chat. Is Elise round start or round end? I didn't even think of that.
You're supposed to be the Elise expert.
Yeah, well, you'd think, right?
if I wake up at 2:45 in the morning screaming to myself about an Elise question, I'm calling you first thing.
I guess it never really comes into play as to whether or not it's round end or round start when I'm leveling Elise. So I don't ever
actually. Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't come up a whole lot, but I'm going to check for you. Zinc is 100% sure it's round start, and she is round start.
Yeah, okay.
Gold star for Zinc Elemental.
So that question actually matters not at all. So there we go. Thanks, Zinc, clarifying that. So I still would be interested, though, if a similar effect, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but with ephemeral units dying, I wonder what happens first, end of round or the ephemeral unit dying. I wonder if there's like an order of operations to that.
Yeah, it's PEMDAS.
Yeah.
So we do see the Doom Beast picked up, which means Finnick is essentially at 1 life here. But you had to be considerate of the fact that your opponent could Stalking Shadows into the Doom Beast, right? You preserved your entire board. You're not representing lethal with the board that you have available, and kind of curious what Finnick is actually going to go for here. I mean, Rekindler's not on the table. No ashes have died.
Yeah, this is one of the interesting things about this deck, and this was actually, I've thought about this a lot with Shadow Isles and if this might eventually become a problem, especially when Stalking Shadows was originally released, which is why I thought Stalking Shadows was busted. You could run 3 Stalking Shadows and 3 Glimpse Beyond. That is a crap ton of draw. I'm not
absolutely.
I'm not sure if Hunter V is running 3 of each. I imagine he is. But when you have a deck like this that just duplicates everything and just wants multiple of everything, oh my god! Like look at this board. We've traded multiple times with the board of Finnik, and we still have a full board going wide. This is insane.
Yeah, and Hunter is poising to get down this Nocturne after the Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes down. It's going to knock 5 damage off of Finnick's attack, which was already 1 shy of lethal. Probably going to Oh, it's tough because do you overwrite a spider to play the Nocturne? Okay, so we are going to go for the Glimpse Beyond. This makes sense because he already overwrote a unit with a spider so that he can level the Elise and try and go for lethal on the following turn. I don't think he's going to be able to quite get there, maybe with the Doom Beast, but is going to be able to glimpse beyond the unit that is getting Enchanted Crystal Arrows so that he has a clean spot to put the Nocturne, not going to have to overwrite a spider. And, you know, killing the Wraithcaller to do it feels a little bit weird. It is a strong unit. You know, maybe it's not as much damage as a 1/1 spider, but the utility that you're about to get out of these cannot be understated. We get the Go Get It. We have the Fading Memories. I mean, technically we have lethal represented with the Doom Beasts.
So...
Not this turn, but over the course of the next couple.
Okay, so it's kind of unfortunate we're not going to see the Wraithcaller with Go Get It. I'm just trying to, now that Go Get It is in the hand, I'm trying to think of other interactions that might be possible that are kind of going to blow out the game. Doom Beast, it's now another copy of Doom Beast. We have Fading Memories and Doom Beast and Go Get It. That's 6 damage. So all of a sudden, we don't even need to attack. So I don't know if we have more heal in Finnick's hand. Obviously, that's a consideration, but man.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. Is that just...
And now we probably have to get... Okay, no, we're going for Mist Wraith again, and that is going to give us, you know, 3 blockers at the moment as this continues to buff up the other Mist Wraiths. So 2 blockers when all is said and done because someone's going to get frozen by the Ashen. Yeah, Finnick was not anticipating that one.
Nope. And yeah, that's going to be 2 blockers left. So we are going to be able to trade these with the Icevale Archers, which leaves us with equally as wide of a field as Finnick. I have less faith in Finnick being able to summon 2 more units next turn than I do in Hunter. And not only that, Hunter has Nocturne, so all of these units are not going to be able to block Fearsome. Yep.
Here's another problem, though. We actually can't win the game next turn with the Doom Beast because we don't have a Nightfall activator. Or at least not one cheap enough to get the Doom Beast online alongside the Go Get It. Because that is an ephemeral Doom Beast.
Well, now we have Stalking Shadows.
Okay, now we have Stalking Shadows. Okay, bud. And we can just grab another Doom Beast here.
Wow. You know what? No.
But instead, we're going for the lethal with the frenzied. What?
I like this. No, you don't go for Doom Beast. Why? Doom Beast was so last week, bro. All right, we need Fearsome frenzied skitterers because that's the new in thing right now. Is playing Fearsome.
I hope you get Avalanche.
There would still be Avalanche. Actually, Avalanche would be terrible here.
Yeah, Avalanche would suck, man.
But this deck doesn't play Avalanche though. Zombie Ash. Are you typically playing Avalanche?
It's a control deck.
I mean, I guess, but I feel like most Zombie Ash decks in the past haven't played Avalanche, and we clearly see that's not a thing. So, wow. Just do it, Hunter. Just do it. Play the second Frenzied, please. Or no, actually, Nocturne. I want to see the Nocturne. I actually want to see the Go Get It, just to see the Go Get It.
There is a chance that if you play the second Skitterer, then you get Ruination. I don't think Finnick would do it on this board just because with 6 mana, you are still representing lethal through playing multiple units. And, I mean, technically at 3 mana, you're still representing it because another Mist Wraith will get it done. So I am a little curious to see what Finnick is holding on to with all this mana. Obviously, there are still a lot of freeze effects available for a deck like this, and I mean, I don't blame Finnick for going for that lethal on the previous turn. He had a really good shot at doing it. You just don't expect your opponent to, suddenly develop 3 blockers by playing a unit.
Why not pull the Ash to avoid the Fearsome blocker? We pulled the 2/3 Babbling Bjerg instead of the Ash with the Spider. Oh, wait, never mind. It's got vulnerable.
It's vulnerable.
I'm thinking, like, the Elise is leveled up.
I know there's 5 Spiders.
Yeah.
But the Elise hasn't leveled yet. She hasn't seen them stick around.
And let's see what it is.
I mean,
I'm on the edge of my
seat. Some kind of healing this turn because if he takes any amount of damage here, he's dead to the double Doom Beast.
Yeah, maybe 3 Frostbite. Yeah, so we have a Harsh Winds and then a Brittle Steel, maybe, or Flash Freeze.
That better be a Grasp of the Undying.
What do we got?
Whale?
Withering.
Okay, whale.
Whale's not
Yeah,
bad.
that's going to let your units survive.
And you heal.
Your Ash is also going to live. You're going to go to 6. You're not dead to the Doom Beasts here.
No, so this is good. So Finnik is still very much in this. I guess the question is...
No, go... Is Go Get It lethal? Does Go Get It still... Like if you Go Get It an attacking unit, it's still an attacking unit, right?
Wait. Well, yeah? Is that a trick question?
Yeah, I haven't seen Go Get It played before.
Yeah, no, it's just... It's like Zed Shadow Shift, right? It would put an ephemeral unit
then
in there.
wouldn't that have been lethal on the Mist Wraith?
Did the Mist Wraith have 1 health? Is that why you're saying that?
No, I mean, it has 0 attack. If you Go Get It in combat and summon an in-combat Mist Wraith, it'll have 7 attack.
Oh, that might be a good point. I don't know. I don't remember the exact board state.
Like I said, I don't know this interaction, so I can't say for sure. It replaces with a 0 attack because it's the same stats. Oh, okay.
I wonder how the wording on the card goes.
It says copy.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Copy. Okay, yeah, copy makes sense.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't actually seen the card played before, so it is a little bit of a new interaction to me. Based on the fact that Hunter didn't go for it, I'm assuming that there's some reason that it doesn't quite work out.
I'm surprised we already saw the Doom Beast come out. I imagine he's doing that to make sure he just doesn't take lethal damage on this turn. Because both were ephemeral, so now we can't go get it one of them for guaranteed lethal with this last 2 damage.
And we have a Brittle Steel, so we are representing lethal yet again. And yeah, based on the hand of Hunter, just does not have it. There's the Skitterer. Dude, the Skitterer does it actually.
Wait, yes. Yeah, Skitterer,
gonna minus the attack. It's going to go down. Okay, so HunterV just staying in this one a little bit longer. That said, though, doesn't have lethal on his own side just yet.
I don't care. I don't care, dude.
He might. I mean, there is still a Nocturne in Hunter's hand, and that is going to take these 3 fearsome blockers off the table. Hunter might have turned the corner with this Go Get It. The utility of this card is coming up really big here for HunterV.
The utility of this card is bonkers. Like, even when I first saw this released, when everybody saw it, they're like, this definitely has some potential. This card is bonkers. You have so many effects in this deck. We all were like, hey, Wraithcaller, you get a lot of Mist Wraiths, right? No, we don't play that for Wraithcaller. We play it for Frenzied Skitterer, baby. All right? Wow. Whew. And now
looks like Finnik really agonizing over something here. I'm kind of curious as to what these last 2 cards could be.
No way you can kill it, right?
I think he would have snap killed it if he could.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that awesome animation. We're going to get the summon effect. We're going to go ahead. That's so beautiful. That was great. That is one hell of a play. Yeah, no, Zink in chat, we do play it for Wraithcaller. Yeah, I know.
Oh, man. Yeah, this Nocturne should be lethal. Unless...
What's possible for a top deck? I mean, we can get some heal.
Yeah.
I imagine, yeah, we just want like another fearsome. See, the thing is, though, the fearsome blockers in this deck are all 3 attack. And that's the problem. And even if they weren't, we have Frenzied on top of Nocturne. We actually have too much stat reduction. Is Nocturne leveled, by the way? I don't think so.
No.
So, okay.
Harrowing
That's
could be the defensive tool that you need.
Yeah, that's a thing. Wow.
Because if Hunter's going to get the Nocturne online, he has to play 2 cards at sort of slow speed here.
Yeah. I mean, I get... So, now I'm trying to think. If Harrowing is played on the defensive, that's actually good for Hunter because it does get rid of one of the Harrowings.
I don't think the Death Pool is actually big enough for Finnik because you're probably going to play Skitterer. That's going to take these, these 3/3s offline. Then if you play Harrowing, my Nocturne comes down after the Harrowing does. You've got a lot of 3/3s in the Death Pool. I think you still win.
I think so too. Because of all the fearsome units. So yeah, here's the Skitterer. All right, now.
Oh, fading memory should absolutely do it.
Yeah, it's just too much. Just copying of units right now in hand. Yeah, there's another fearsome blocker.
Yeah, Rhyme
not
thing.
gonna matter.
Okay, going for the onlooker actually.
Yeah, probably just to maybe bait another card out of Finnik. Yeah.
Is this gonna level the Nocturne?
This is ridiculous. Look at this. This is redonkulous. This would level the Nocturne, I think. Yeah, but it doesn't actually matter because you have to summon something after it to get, the Nocturne effect, but
Ash, yeah, and now you know that is gonna be it.
Wow. The Nocturne finish at the end here. Wow, I love this deck. HunterV, you are a man after my own heart. I am absolutely obsessed with this deck. You guys have built an incredible thing here. I was trying to play Wraithcallers previously after Spider Aggro. Was not quite working, and this is amazing.
How, for shame, SJW, how
Oh.
quick you are to drop Spider Aggro.
Oh, man. No, I still think Spider Aggro is really competitive, too. It just plays a little bit different. But wow, that is... I love that deck. That gets my vote for like the top deck right now as far as creativity and just new stuff, new decks, aggro, everything about it. Love it. Awesome. And using the new KDA card, so style points.
Yeah, and that almost wasn't legal for the weekend. On Friday morning, they had said that, you know, Feel the Rush was going to be the only legal KDA card because it was the first one on the pass, and they wanted to be fair about people having... Nope. Okay. Sorry, guys, I lost my point due to some production issues. Getting screwed with over here and not told about
I feel like whenever something happens on your screen or your computer, you just completely lose train of thought. You're just like, wait, what's happening right now?
If I know I have to talk through it, I will, but a lot of times I don't know that I have to talk through it. I'm just like staring at the screen, kind of lost in thought, and then something changes and I snap back to reality.
I honestly, I am so excited. Like this, oh my god, everything about that deck I'm in love with. I think that's an amazing deck, and I am actually a little worried that it might be a little too strong after everything's said and done, just because of, like I said before, I think 3 Glimpse and 3 Stalking Shadows is kind of insane. But alas, we are on to Lee Sin. So following up with a Lee Sin deck after the fact, we'll see if it's able to take on this Harrowing deck and take home a W, just like that Fearsome deck did.
So Zombie Ash gained a lot of prominence in the Lee Sin meta because we were seeing a lot of War Mothers, we were seeing a lot of Lee Sin. Basically, we were just seeing a lot of late game decks where something like Frostbite was extremely efficient, and no deck has more Frostbite than the Frostbite Ash, or than the Zombie Ash, rather. You know, you're constantly bringing out multiple copies of that card. You're playing the Brittle Steels, you're playing the Flash Freezes and the Harsh Winds because you have Rhymefang Wolves, and you want to accelerate this Ash level up. So, yeah, this is going to be, in theory, a little bit of an uphill battle for Hunter.
All right, Avarosian Sentry coming down hot. We're going to have the Mentor of the Stones dropped as well. So this, honestly, a very good start going up against Finnik here if we're able to get this buff from the Mentor out on the Zed. But looks like we might have a response. Looks like we're just going to kill the Zed straight up with 2 Vile Feast. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and it's good of him not to layer it, or this Guiding Touch would have blown him out, and you know that one Pale Cascade is already gone. You know, even if the second Pale Cascade did come out here, at least you have the Spiderlings to go ahead and block the Zed out. But now, the field looking pretty empty on the side of HunterV, and yeah, you know, he can go ahead and throw out this Goat on the following turn, and then start to build it up and pillar on that a little bit, but eventually he's going to need to find a real win condition.
Yeah, we have another. We just top. Wow.
And
do the
as
emote.
I say it, he does find it. There is
Do
the
the
Zed
emote.
off the top.
Hunter.
He perfectly timed.
Hunter, do the emote. Why did we consider doing the emote and then pull it back? We need the emote. Just play the Jinx
Because
emote.
we know our opponent muted our emotes.
You and the muting of the emotes.
It's so top tier.
It is. It really is. It's like the most pro play you can make. So yeah, wow. So the top deck Zed, feel really bad for Finnik. This is going to be really strong, really fast if we don't have a way to remove it again. And it's looking like probably not, especially if we already used 2 Vile Feasts. Maybe we have a Grasp. Would feel kind of bad to play Grasp right now, but...
Oh, I'm sorry, Hunter. Did you want your Lee Sin for your Lee Sin deck? Greedy boy.
Wow, okay, this, to me, is a sign of desperation from Finnik. If you are chronicling an Avarosian Sentry.
I mean, like, I don't know if I'd call it desperation, because one of the uses of Chronicler is that you can use it on a draw card like Avarosian Sentry or Babbling Beard. And those are sort of, I mean, outside of Rekindler and maybe adding 1 Ash to the pool, I think a draw card is sort of my second best target, Rekindler being number 1, Ash being number 3.
Yeah, no, it definitely doesn't feel terrible. We'll see what Finnik has in hand to pair with it. Getting this additional draw on the field. Looks like we're valuing that 2 attack on the Avarosian Sentry too. Not going to offer it up as a blocker. Instead going to use these Spiderlings here, which is going to buy Finnik some time, but a lot of resources lost in trying to go for the kill on that initial Zed, kind of overextending a little bit there using both Vile Feasts because, you know, Finnik recognized, hey, Zed is a big deal, especially with the Mentor of the Stones on the field supporting it. I need to get rid of this ASAP, and unfortunately, the second one, not so lucky for Finnik.
He's going to pick up that Moonglow for just a little bit of protection for his units later on. Hush, not useless in this matchup. I feel like for the most part, it is going to be used to unfrostbite one of your units, which could come in really big a little bit later on. But, I mean, this definitely isn't a matchup where you're really looking for a card like that. And we don't have any protection either outside of this Moonglow. So, I mean, something like a Vile Feast could still pop that. Vengeance is still on the table. But honestly, given that you already used 2 Vile Feasts on the first Zed, all of a sudden that Spell Shield is looking like a daunting task to come through because typically we're not seeing unspeakable horror out of these zombie Aztecs, so sort of his easy and efficient way to get through a Spell Shield is already gone, and if he does have to layer it with something like a Vengeance one turn into a Vengeance on another, this second Spell Shield out of the Bastion is going to put that Zed back up out of the Vengeance range.
Yeah, Bastion. I mean, and this is kind of the power of the Lee Sin deck when you don't have Lee Sin. It is very capable of winning without Lee Sin, and that is usually with an early Zed getting buffed up, like we've seen this game with Mentor of the Stones, and now it's even got a Spell Shield just in case we were worried about this Zed dying. This is probably going to be too much aggression for Finnik to really deal with here. I mean, we are dealing with a zombie Ash. That means Harrowing is one of the cards we want to play towards, but Harrowing is a hell of an expensive card. Not sure if we're going to be able to keep up the tempo to give ourselves the turn to really get to that point to play it. Or, I mean, in this case, we don't even have Ashes that are dead yet. We got to get to that step first.
Oh, so we have the Vengeance Vile Feast, but there is a Notify for the Vile Feast, and that is one of the situations where this card comes in really big. Is it is generally an expensive task to try and get through a Spell Shield, and the fact that you don't even need Deny for the Vengeance, you can just stop the thing that's popping the Spell Shield, and you're in a really good position. And now that is 9 mana committed into this Moonglow. Now we still have the Bastion to prevent a play like this for later on, and that's all 3 Vile Feasts out of the way of Finnik. He is going to struggle to pop these Spell Shields in the future. It's going to take like a Withering Wail to try and set it up for a freeze effect. This is disastrous.
Yeah, that 9 mana combo is one of the best ways of dealing with Spell Shield, but not when your opponent has Notify. And that's just going to happen. We're just going to have to be okay with it, and we're going to be pushing 5 more damage with Zed's clone, which means that Zed is one step closer to leveling up this turn. Deep Med, too, to even refuel even more. I mean...
And it's perfect in terms of mana. Still going to float 3 into the next turn.
This is rough. I mean, Lee Sin's going to be level 2 when it comes down. And if Lee Sin is drawn... Okay, well, there it is. The Lee Sin's drawn. Now we got problems on the side of Finnik.
Oh, yeah, we had problems. Now we're dead.
Yeah, right?
There's no Zenith Blade yet, so no Overwhelm going to be coming out onto either one of these units. And I think at any point, though, this Lee Sin is just going to kind of end the game. We don't necessarily need the Overwhelm to get it done at this point. We have buried our opponent in terms of advantage. The Lee Sin level should be enough, especially because our opponent doesn't have a very wide board. Regardless of the fact that I'm kicking a unit and pushing a little bit of damage onto you, I am also critically dragging something out of the way of the Zed to let that push through even more damage.
Yeah, we'll see if Hunter on the next attack turn is able to take this home. I mean, we're looking at turn 9, 5. I don't know why 5 came out of my mouth as opposed to 9. Honestly, the thing is, though, we don't have Zenith Blade. So that is usually like the finisher that you want to really push through that damage. We might not need it just because of Zed's clones. We shall see. Looks like we are, though, going to go ahead and block this Ash because we do know that we have 2 spells that we can go ahead and play to give Lee Sin barrier. We could even, like, proactively Bastion it here. Not really sure. There's no, like, perfect combination of spells that you want to give to Lee Sin right now to give him the barrier. So it feels a little bit awkward. So I could see the thought being put behind this. It definitely makes sense. I'm actually curious to see how Hunter plays this. I don't necessarily think there's a 100% right way to what spells to play here.
I don't even know that you necessarily need to give the Lee Sin barrier. It can take a little bit of damage and try and just bait more cards out of your opponent. We're actually just going to Bastion the Zed. So
this is better. Okay.
Yeah, so the barrier is going to be onto the Lee Sin, the Bastion is going to be onto the Zed. It is going to kill the Ashe. No amount of Frostbite effects are going to be able to get through that because it is unbrittle stealable, and Finnick's only at 5 mana.
Yeah, wow. This is actually so. Right after I said maybe there's not like a perfect way to play in this, I do think that Hunter, the way that the spells were played here, I think this lines up perfectly with what you want. I think either way, you could have had the Zed block the 3/3 or vice versa. I don't think that mattered, but we'll see what Finnick has in response here. If we have some additional Frostbite coming out, maybe to save this Ashe, or I mean, obviously we're not going to Frostbite the Lee Sin. Barrier on it, not going to do much. It would just save the Babbling Bjerg. I'm not too concerned about that, though. I don't think Finnick would be.
No, and I'm trying to think that, what can Finnick do to try and survive this next turn? What combination of cards, when you're out of Vile Feasts, when you're out of easy ways to pop the Spell Shield, can you possibly have going into the next turn to try and survive this set? So he does have the Withering Wail. That's going to pop the barrier. That's going to pop the Spell Shield. And now all of a sudden, Harsh Winds, very much on the table. But you are still going to lose your entire board. So while the Harsh Winds is nice, it doesn't really do a whole lot for you in terms of tempo. It's pretty mana inefficient. I mean, it's not like HunterV is going to have any development to go along with it. And first, we're just going to, because we are out of protection, use a couple of gems, push through these units. And I guess the best case scenario for Finnick would be something like a Harsh Winds into a Ruination on the following turn.
And this is a lot of damage. This is a lot of damage, and the Lee Sin, or sorry, the Zed is probably going to level up. Unless we somehow Frostbite both of them. This is a really bad spot for Finnick. This escalated way too quickly, and I think that Finnick just doesn't have enough tools to actually deal with this. We might have a Ruination, but yeah, the open attack going to get around that. Wow. And that's just the Shen emote right there. Hunter going to take it 2-0 versus Finnick. Wow. That was actually a pretty quick game there. That first game.
That was an absolutely disastrous game for Finnick there in game number 2. Unable to pick up a win on this Zombie Ashe. One of the cooler decks that we've seen on the day. Never found its footing really in either matchup. It came close in the Mist Wraith matchup. It did take a lot of kind of cute little tricks on the side of HunterV to stay in that one and eventually find the win, but that is one of the problems with the Zombie Ashe. It's relatively straightforward outside of something like Troll Chanting a 2-attack unit down to 0 HP. It's remained relatively the same in terms of its flexibility and capabilities over the course of the last couple of months since we started to see the deck up until now.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And I do want to update everybody, though. So, first off, congrats to Hunter for taking home that win. God, I'm so happy. That's 2 times in a row we've seen a new aggro deck seem to just completely wreck on the day. All right, HunterV advancing to the finals, taking that sweet go get it Fearsome deck with him. And God, I'm excited here to get to the finals. It is actually going to be a Team Aretuza finals. So Asher ended up taking the win there over Rowdy to put the second Team Aretuza member in there. And yeah, it was pretty fun stuff having everybody in chat as well. It was just awesome. It was a really cool, fun finals. You gotta be there. You gotta be there, man. Why aren't you guys there? You're watching the video. I get it. Great. Thank you for watching the video. I'm glad you enjoy the content. Be at the cast. Be at the cast. All right, and you'll find out why you should be at the cast in the finals video as well, because we do additional stuff at the cast. But as always, everybody, stay healthy, stay positive. I hope shit just works for you, and peace out.